Hi. So, continuing on with my story, um, after I got that diagnosis and heard the news from my doctor, I was in a state of shock for a very long time. And I said that, I got um, home and I, I don't even remember going home, but um, I had to go home and tell my daughter. And um, that was probably one of the, I don't even know how to explain it, scary, frightening things that I had to do because I knew that I'm all she has and um, that she would be very terrified. So I just wanted to tell her and comfort her and explain exactly what the doctor had said and um, try to make sure that she knew that I was gonna fight as hard as I could and be okay. Um, Even though in my head I was questioning everything under the sun and the whys and why me's and all of those things. Um, so that process happened um, when she came home from school. And before that, of course, I did I think like most people would do is get onto the internet and start looking about what this was and what it is and what the rates are of survival and what the treatments are and what everything is going to happen for me and um, part and parcel why I want to reach out and let everybody know my story so that um, they can hear that kind of stuff. And I I think going on to the internet, was very overwhelming, and, I think it was something that I had to do, but I stopped because it was almost scaring me more um, than I needed to be, I think, and not answering it was giving me more questions. So, um, I wrote down a few things that I knew that I wanted to keep and ask the doctor who had given me my diagnosis and make sure that I had clarification when I did get to go see him again. Um, of course, this initial diagnosis was in October, and they had to send me for you know like pre-op stuff and all that. And by the time I was ready to go to have an operation. It was Christmas break, and they had to wait and uh, schedule radiation first to try to shrink the tumor. So um, they scheduled that for the new year. And of course, with all of this, I had to go and explain to my employer that I well, through the clinic, I had to have them know that I was gonna be off for a while, and, um, some of them that I was close to, I let know what was going on very specifically, and other ones, I just told them that I would was gonna be off for an operation and, was gonna be gone for a while, so, um, I should touch on that because with that, um, I think one of the biggest eye-opening things that happened with my employers because I think the best way to describe it is like they surrounded me and helped me and comforted me like I was getting a big hug and a lift up from every single one of them. And I think I didn't expect it. I am very much a person who gives and gives and gives, and I almost have a hard time of taking help or asking for help. So I was put in a position where I couldn't not take help. Going through the chemo and radiation um, is very draining. I had my immediate supervisor take me to my appointments, and um, out of her own sweet heart, stayed with me through the week and made sure that I got out to get food and got out to get my Starbucks because she knew that I love Starbucks, and just, you know, something into my body because by the fifth week, I was gagging on yogurt because food just was not something that seemed to want to go into my body by the fifth week of chemo and radiation. So my January to March was um, a long process of realizing that I had people around me that were going to help, that I had people that were going to be right there with me, that I had people that were going to support my daughter, that I didn't even really know about because her friends at school surrounded her and embraced her and helped her through it all. Um, my daughter, um, at the time, didn't want to burden me with questions, um, just was not even quite sure as to what to do to help me or what to say to me. So she just kept our time together light and um, easy and did what she could with helping. But for 6 weeks, I was in Kingston and only home on weekends. So she was old enough that she was able to stay on her own and have the neighbor just check in on her, every day. And um, that in itself was scary for me to be leaving her by herself. But my neighbors were very close to us and they were very willing to help me out, knowing what I was going through to. Um, check in on Hunter and make sure she was okay and have her over for supper and stuff like that. So, um, I am going to continue these videos, but I think I'm going to end there for today. And I'll continue on talking more about what transpired after my chemo and radiation treatments. So happy Victoria Day, everybody. Normally, these will be done on Sundays, every Sunday until I'm done my story. But I had the pleasure of going to visit my sister and came back yesterday. So that's why it's today. All right. Thank you. And I hope everyone has a great Victoria Day.